Hello, ladies. Welcome to Hope Cafe. Do you have your favorite quarantine mug? This is mine. It has Winston on it. I'm sure we've all come up with our favorite mugs over the last month or so. Favorite pillow, maybe. This is mine. Reminding me of adventures, more exciting adventures that are awaiting us outside the apartment, beyond the kitchen, the bathroom, the bedroom, places that we'll get to go to again. Don't you worry. It's coming. And I know we would love to be together at the Kalahari, but you know what? That's okay. We are here in the living room together. Welcome to Bethany's living room. I am excited to be sitting with you drinking coffee today. I don't know how quarantine is working for you or how it's been for you, but I just have to say I have not minded it quite so much. I don't remember the last time I was so excited and on my hands and knees with a can of Comet. My kitchen floor is beautiful. Oh my goodness. I'm excited when I walk in the kitchen. I got a ladder out and I was cleaning the windows. Oh my word. And I don't remember the last time I did that. Right? A few other things have been done as well that needed to be done. I am thankful for this gift of the quarantine. And I'm sure all of us are dealing in ways that maybe we didn't think we would. But I have been convicted and challenged to look at the gift of this time. It's been fun, actually. One of the gifts that I have discovered that the Lord really kind of just snapped me the other day, I'm going to share with you today. And it is the gift that He identified as I was reading in the morning. By the way, one of the other gifts of the quarantine has been a gift of time to spend with Him without a time limit on it. You know how it is when you have to get up and go to work or do other things that you have this much time, right? To talk to the Lord or to pray, to read. And when you've got other things to do on your calendar, sometimes it cuts, obviously cuts that short. Well, these last few weeks has been wonderful because I've been able to get up and just read and talk to Him without a real time limit on it. I have a journal that I've been writing in, and if you don't journal, by the way, you should. Oh my goodness. Such therapy. Plus, when you go back and read it, it speaks to you all over again. You laugh, you cry, you laugh again. You're like, oh my word, what was I thinking? But it's good stuff. And if you do it with the Word, and you're talking to the Lord and He's kind of sharing things with you and you get it written down, guess what? You get to be reminded all over again, especially those things that maybe you forgot. So anyway, by the way, I filled a whole journal already. I had to start working on another one, so that's kind of exciting. So one of the things that He has given me new understanding for and revealed the gift, another gift of the quarantine has been, are you ready for it? Do you have a pen? All right, here it is. It has been the gift of the multitude. So, this is what I'm going to share with you today, and I'm going to pose it in a question. Here it comes. Who is your multitude? Who is your multitude? Sounds like kind of a strange question. What in the world are you talking about? I'm not talking about the multitude that came to Jesus that were sick, that needed healing. There are multitudes referred in Scripture that were hungry, that needed food, that He provided a miraculous lunch for them. It's not the multitude I'm talking about. If you go to Proverbs, which is probably my favorite book in the Bible, there are 3 scriptures specifically that refer to the word multitude. And this is what we're going to talk about today. Got your Bible? All right. Here it comes. You can write these down and maybe go back and look at them later and study them out for yourself later. Write them in your journal later. Proverbs 11:14 says, "Where no counsel is, the people fall, but in the multitude of counselors, there is safety." Proverbs 24, verse 6 says, "For by wise counsel thou shalt make thy war." How cool is that? "And in multitude of counselors, there is safety." Second time he says that. Third verse in Proverbs is chapter 15, verse 22. It says, "Without counsel, purposes are disappointed, but in the multitude of counselors, they are established." Break down that last verse real quick for us to understand what that's talking about. What does it mean when it says purposes are disappointed? Another way to translate or to interpret the word purposes is to call it plans, or more specifically, the fulfillment of plans or purposes, or your purpose. Without counsel, your purpose, your plans are disappointed. Another way to describe or to interpret the word disappointed means they are trashed, or they are canceled, or any good that would have come from them is destroyed, simply because no one else was consulted. There was no counsel, no multitude of counselors. So what are you talking about specifically, Bethany? What is this multitude? I was thinking about it, and it kind of dawned on me that this particular concept is broken down into two groups. And I like to look at it in terms of my two arms, okay? So one arm will be one group, the other arm will be the other group, all right? First group that would be considered your multitude will be those people. And since we're women, I'm going to be talking about them in terms of women, okay? The first group, or the first multitude for you, will be a group of women that you look to, that you reach out to, that you proactively seek, that you want to be a voice of counsel in your life. Someone that you have watched perhaps from a distance, someone that you have admired for a while, someone whose life or walk with God is one that you want. Perhaps especially someone who you know has struggled, you know has walked a difficult road, and has come out the other side looking like somebody you want to look like, that has gone through something like that, perhaps. Someone whose prayer life, whose understanding of God is what you want. That multitude, or those people, are women that you can have in your life or in your group. The word multitude, by the way, also sometimes kind of sounds like, and this is just as a side note, we sometimes think that it means automatically a large group of people. And I want to specifically cut that off and say it doesn't necessarily mean a certain number. There's no requirement that will automatically constitute a multitude. It simply refers to more than one. Solomon didn't have any stipulation on what a multitude looked like. He didn't say it has to be 12. It has to be 300. It has to be 10,000. No. It just needs to be more than one, so that you have a group of voices. There's a circle, basically. I like to look at it as a circle that are surrounding you, that speak to you, that give you counsel, that give you advice, that give you a word from the Lord at different times of your life that you need it. Specifically as well, this is how it's applied to me. I look at my life and more importantly, more specifically, my multitude, and the group of women that I have invited into that group or that I have sought out personally are from different parts of my life, from different times of my life, different things that I have experienced over my life. Some I've known for a long time, some maybe not very long at all. Some of them I see on a regular basis, some I don't. Some I can ask out for coffee and ask them to spend some time with me perhaps. Some I can't do that because they live in a different state. Some that I don't talk to, again, more than once or twice a year. Or I don't see them more than once or twice a year, if that. But they are women who ultimately, all of them know that I trust them to speak to me, and they have the authority to speak to me anytime they feel the Lord speaks to them about me, has something specific to share with me, or maybe they don't hear anything specific, they just know that they are that valuable voice to me. I made a list of those women that I have considered a part of my multitude, or who is my multitude. And there are 11 women on that list. And again, everyone's list can be a different number. It doesn't have to be a certain amount. You get to choose, but the point is that you do choose. You ever gone to church and felt alone, perhaps? Have you ever sat on the pew with other women or other people that you go to church with, and even though you're not physically alone, you have felt alone? Or perhaps a minister's wife that you have wished you could share your heart with. You have wondered if there are other women that struggle like you do. Are you maybe a youth minister that you have wished you could pick someone else's brain and ask them for counsel, and found that they perhaps have struggled just like you do with certain things? Are you maybe a widow or an ex-wife? You have wondered, is there anyone else that gets it like I do? That have struggled like that have met the same issues or same potholes that I have on this walk with the Lord? I'm here to encourage you that there are other women out there. There are other voices out there. There are people that can be in your multitude. Interesting that he used the word safety. What's the opposite of safety? Danger. When Solomon said, in the multitude of counselors there is safety, he wanted you specifically to know that by reaching out to those people, those voices, by surrounding yourself with voices that you trust, you are going to avert danger. You're not going to break your leg on that pothole that's coming that you may not have seen if it wasn't for someone else to share that with you. You're going to be able to see the road clearly and avoid danger of falling in the ditch. An oncoming vehicle perhaps that you did not see coming. Someone in your multitude was able to point it out to you. And because of that, you are safe. Multitude of counselors. Your multitude is going to provide safety for you. The bottom line is this. There are women and people out there in the world that will easily take your money to let you talk to them. Maybe not even a paid therapist or someone that you need to sit on the couch and share things with them that they have been trained professionally perhaps to treat. The key that Solomon was talking about is those that love God. That is the common denominator. You can easily share your heart and find people that will listen to you talk or that will perhaps commiserate with you. The more important key here is those that love God. Those that you know are going to go to God for you. Those that you know that if you were to call them up and say, I need you to pray for me or pray with me, they're going to do it, and they know how to get a hold of God. Those are the women. Those are the voices that you need to invite into your multitude. And I, again, can't tell you who they are for you. I can't give you any specifics. All I can say is what has worked for me and what has been a blessing to me is that the Lord has opened those doors, opened those opportunities, those conversations with women, and He has given me understanding when I've seen them, or I have had conversations with them, and I've been able to ask them for their advice, for their counsel, and they have shared with me. And again, sometimes it's maybe once a year or not even that often. But when they do speak to me, when they do send me a card, when they do call me up or text me, every single time, it's exactly what I needed at the time that I needed it. And the word that they shared with me was what I needed to hear. Why is that? Because God knew where I was. Because God saw me specifically in my situation. And He's the one who orchestrated that. This concept is God planned. God created. So it's going to work for your good. Solomon said safety. He's going to provide safety for you in your multitude. That's why this is so important, so vital. I'm not sure where the concept came. I've heard it maybe shared or talked about, but there's a concept out there that even though we know that we don't walk this walk alone, or that we live for God alone, there's a concept that somehow has convinced us that no one else needs to know our struggles, that no one else needs to know what I'm dealing with. Not only do they not need to know, I shouldn't share with them. I shouldn't reach out to somebody else and ask for someone that I can trust to talk to me about this, to go to the Lord with me about this. And again, don't misunderstand. This is not just going willy-nilly and asking everybody to be in your multitude. That's the opposite of what this is. This is a core group of people that you can trust, that you can very prayerfully consider and say, I would like to ask you if you would be a voice to me, if you would be a mentor to me. It's also another way of interpreting this word multitude. I have also termed it, or I have used it as the concept of mentorship, which is so vital in this walk with the Lord, especially now. So the one arm is those that you look up to, or that you look out for, or that you've reached out to, you have asked to be those voices in your life. The other arm, the other group, the other part of the multitude are those that look to you. Whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not, there are voices and eyes that are watching you in your walk with God, that are admiring it, that are wanting what you have, that are wanting to see how it's done and have seen you as an example. And when somebody comes to you and asks for your counsel, for your advice, for your guidance, consider that a compliment. That this is something that the Lord is asking for you. He sees something in you, and He has orchestrated this, perhaps. And He has given you an opportunity to reach to somebody else. This is what the body is all about. It's not just about ourselves walking this walk alone. Again, like I just said a little bit ago, we were not meant to live this by ourselves. This is why we need the body. And this particular concept, breaks it down more specifically and lets you know that not only do you need those voices speaking to you, but God needs you to be a mentor to someone else, to be a part of someone else's multitude. So when they come to you asking for your guidance, for your counsel, remember the words of Solomon, in the multitude of counselors, when you are a part of someone else's multitude, you can provide safety. It does present a responsibility to us as well. This is not something to be taken lightly. We don't just share any little thing with somebody, but know that the Lord is wanting to stretch you and perhaps grow you in your walk with God. When someone asks you for counsel or for an ear to listen and understand, speak to the Lord first and let Him speak through you. What a wonderful privilege it is to serve the Lord, isn't it? And to serve it with others that love Him. I'm so honored to be a part of this wonderful district. You precious ladies. And I thank you for being a part of the greater multitude of wonderful believers in Jesus who are serving Him stronger today than yesterday, stronger today than last year, Ladies retreat looks a little different this year, doesn't it? That's all right. We are stronger now than we were even a year ago. And the Lord willing, we're going to be together again in person, worshiping Him. I'm thankful for you. I love you, and I'm so grateful for this wonderful gift of the body. Thank you for coming to Hope Cafe today. Love you so much. God bless you.